when you open your gloves, right? Another thing about gloves, by the way, whatever size you think you are, go down a half size or a size, because you guys all love, everybody does it. Whenever you're picking glove size, I feel like you're always like, I'm bigger than I think I am, and you're not. So you're gonna be all sterile, you're gonna do it in a sterile way, so gloves go here. Another fatal flaw is people are like, oh, my gloves aren't where I want them, and they touch it. What is this?
Sterile.
What am I? Yes, I'm like dirty right now. So yeah, you cannot touch them. Don't be afraid to, you need a second, just pause, think, be like, what is this? What am I? Can I touch it? And if the answer is no, don't do it. Then I'm gonna go scrub, do a little scrubbing process, right? Dry my hand that specific way, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna very carefully, keeping this, I remember the little rectangle here, this is my sterile field, and then pull this off. To see how I'm being super mindful of this collar, so I'm gonna stay below this collar, pick up my gown, and then just let it unfold. And then from here, by staying here, if I had picked this up the wrong way, I could easily figure it out, no big deal, flip it around. So I'm below the collar, and then when I'm gonna gown, I'm gonna hold it up by its sleeves, and then this, so I'm trying to be really mindful not to touch the collar here. I'm gonna do one arm at a time. So in, lock my arm in. This wasn't exactly in front of you here, but see how I did not use, you can't hold this up on yourself because there's too much of a risk of potentially touching or your hands just scorch. And then you'll have someone tie you in.
When you're tying somebody in, see how I'm focusing on only grabbing, well, I should have only grabbing the inside of her gown. Not that she's going to touch the back of her gown to her surgery site, but she's expecting anything that's not the inside of the gown to be sterile. I'm also not going to reach over here because she bites. I'm also not going to reach over here and grab that tie off the front. I'm going to stick my finger under it and pull it back so that I don't touch the front of her gown and make her not sterile. Don't choke each other. This just needs to be tied loosely just so that it doesn't slide down on the front.
And then, I don't know if you guys have noticed with my arms, I think of it as my box, right? So I don't leave my box. So I don't, I have like the top of my shoulders and my waist, and my arms never leave there. So I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, my hands never drop, never, never. You're always up like this. I always say, I always just want to keep my hands where I can see them. So I always know, like, did I really, did I not? I don't have to question it. They're always right here where I can see them. So I'm going to now go ahead and open my gloves. So this is okay, right? Sterile, sterile. Totally matches. It's okay to touch. So then I'm going to open my glove wrapping here. Now, when it comes to the closed gloving, you see how these are folded, the gloves are folded, like the cuff is kind of folded up. So I'm going to go ahead and get my left hand started first. So I'm going to grab the glove here. Here is the thumb. So I'm going to lay thumb to thumb, and the fingers are going to point towards me. So thumb to thumb, fingers are towards me. This is my thumb and my index finger. I'm going to pinch that ribbed part. You guys see I'm all pinching that ribbed part right here. So I'm pinching the ribbed part, and then I'm going to take my other sterile sleeve, I'm going to grab the other ribbed part, and I'm going to flip it over. You want good overlap between the glove and the sleeve here. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So I've got my other glove. So now, so I just did my right hand, and then my left hand, so same thing, I'm going to lay this, so thumb is here, thumb to thumb, using my index and my thumb here. So I'm going to pinch that ribbed part, and the thumb to thumb, fingers towards me, and just flip it over. And then, now, once I'm here, this is when I might spend more time adjusting and getting adjusted. So I hope you guys can see this is way too loose. So gloves really need to be a second skin, right? You really need dexterity to feel things. Like kitten ovaries are like itty bitty. You've got to have a second skin. So these are clearly too big. So if you're, and it's been different between brands. Some of these are expired. So you may be a different, like you might be a 6 in one brand and 6.5 in another. So definitely, you haven't sized gloves before, you say to size up. And get comfortable, but they should be snug on your hands. They shouldn't cut off your circulation.
The first thing I'm going to do after I take off this crap is open up the gloves.
What else are you going to do?
I don't know. Probably put on a cap and a mask.
There you go.
Okay, so this time you are going to open your glove package all the way because we're not gowning. Okay, so we're not going to be doing this with our mitten hands. You want to make sure that you're only touching on the folds of the paper the whole time. Nowhere else but the folds of the paper. I would recommend, for ease of use, when you get this bottom part, fold it down. When you get this top part, fold it down. Do that first, and then the paper is actually more likely to stay open once you get the whole thing open. Otherwise, it likes to be feisty. Then you want to go under each of these folds, pull them open. Sometimes the gloves like to stick to them as well. And now that's open. First glove that we're going to put on, oh wait, washy. Ding, we're clean. Now, first glove that we put on, when you are open gloving, okay, this means I have no gown on, I'm doing something like repairing a minor laceration, doing a cat neuter, although there are some people that will say that you should glove in for cat neuter, gown in for cat neuters as well. That's plus or minus. It's right near the butthole, not a big deal. Hello. So you are only touching with your hands that are what, sterile or clean?
Clean.
Clean. You are only touching the cuffs of the glove. So your hand can only touch the cuff. So this, I do my right hand first, my dominant hand first. So I'm going to touch the cuff of the glove with my right hand. Okay, I'm going to hold it flat, and I'm going to place my right hand inside the glove, just holding the cuff of the glove. I am not going to roll the cuff down, because if I roll the cuff down, for those of you that have been in Clin Skills and done open gloving, what does that mean? If I were to touch this cuff and roll it down?
You're breaking sterility.
I'm breaking sterility. Why?
Because that's the sterile surface.
Yep. And I've now done what to it? By touching it with my clean but not sterile hand. Now I've got a sterile gloved hand here, okay? I theoretically could do the same thing on this side and just grab this cuff and pull it on. But an easier way to do this seems not easier when you first start. I truly understand that concept, but it eventually is instead, I'm gonna palm flat, point my fingers down towards me, and I'm gonna go inside the cuff on the other glove until I have that cuff over my hand. Spread the cuff out, stick the other hand inside, make sure that you're keeping this cuff pulled out, and then pull the cuff all the way down. Then you can stick your fingers inside the cuff only on the other side and pull that cuff down, and then you're done. It's okay if it's bunched up on the side here. You're really just trying to keep your hands covered. If you are doing any sort of procedure where you are going above this part of your hand, where your fingers meet your palms, you should have a gown on, without question. Like, it shouldn't be like, it's cool, I'm gonna go up like to the end of my hand here. Okay, because then the chances that you're also gonna be touching something on that field with your maybe scrubbed, but completely open and just clean, not sterile arms is really high. Your demonstration testicles inside the balloon, and on one end there is going to be a knot. I want you to orient that knot at the bottom, because that's the end you're going to pull out. The end that has the knot on it, anatomically speaking, if this were actually a cat that we were castrating, would be the end that was not N-O-T, not K-N-O-T, adhered to the epididymis and the vaginal tunic. So the epididymis would be opposite from where this knot is. Because if you make this open, all the cords and everything are adhered cranially. So this is the caudal pole of the testicle, theoretically. So the balloon is the skin, and your cat just has some really saggy skin, don't judge. Everyone grab their blade. This is a what size blade? You can look on the package. It's a 10, yeah. You can use a 10, you can use a 15, it doesn't really matter, one of those two. Don't use a 20, don't use a 22, don't use an 11, don't use a 12, 10 or a 15. You're gonna orient the blade so that you're holding it right about here. And you're gonna hold it not with your middle finger and your thumb, but with your forefinger and your thumb. Okay, can everybody see that? So I'm holding my testicle, not my testicle, cat's testicle, with that caudal pole right here. And in this specific demonstration, we're doing this with 2 incisions, one over each testicle. So I've got the caudal pole right here. The easiest way to do this when you are actually neutering the cat is to bring your fingers like this. You can also do this, if you'd like to. But what I don't want you to do is this, because then you're not going to be able to cut accurately. And for some reason, that's what everyone wants to do when they go to neuter a cat. They want to hold from the butt. So we're going to hold from this side, or we're going to hold from this side. Doesn't really matter which. I'm going to hold from this side, that way I don't cut towards my fingers. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut through the skin, which is just through the balloon. So you have to be careful about what your depth is. So we're going to go through the balloon. You may have to cut more than once. There we go. Because I've never neutered a balloon with a grape in it, I actually went into the testicle. I could feel it go into the grape. But once I've gotten this to as I stretch it, you can see once I get it to a hole that's big enough for it, the testicle will just pop out. So here's the caudal pole, here's the cranial pole, got my testicular cord, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not pull the cord out of the testicle. So be careful because the knot's gonna pull through. So hold right here at the top. You are gonna hold your instrument in your hand like this. See how the curve is pointed up and I can put my index finger right here? Make sure you're holding your hemostat like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hemostat to the left of this cord. You're gonna turn it sideways. You're gonna hook the hemostat under and then turn it flat. Once you're at that step, you're going to turn it 90 degrees. Once you're at that step, you're going to open the jaws. You are then going to move the testicle to up in between. See how I can take it from below, up in between the jaws? Once I've got it there, I'm going to use this hand to move this whole knot down into the tip. And then I'm going to close the tip all the way. See how close this is to the tip of the instrument? You want this really close to the tip of the instrument. If you don't do that, it's going to be really hard to push this knot off. Now, I'm going to hold the testicle in this hand and also grab the instrument in that hand. That keeps you from doing this, or doing this, and making yourself unsterile. So testicle in this hand, instrument also in this hand. Take your blade, and you are going to cut right about where you can't see my hand, right about here. Not right against the hemostat. So give yourself a couple of millimeters. Go ahead and cut. See how I've got a couple of millimeters right here? You don't want more than that, or it's going to be hard to slide this knot off. You don't want less than that, or it might pull through the hemostat. Okay? Then, I'm going to hold the hemostat with this hand. I am not going to put my fingers in these ratchets. Why not?
In case they open.
In case they open. You got it. I am also not going to put my fingers here. Why not? In case this opens. I'm going to put my fingers here and here. So on the top and bottom of these boxes. Nothing's going to open there. And then I'm going to use my fingers on the sides of this knot, not the top and bottom. Why am I not going here and here to push this knot off? You might push the whole thing out. You got it. So side and side, and I'm going to slide that knot off. See how that slid right off? Because I had it near the tip, and also I didn't have a super long end to it. Then I'm going to put my thumb over the end of this tail, and with this hand, I'm going to pull the knot only. I'm just going to slide this knot down until it's as tight as I can get it and the string rips off. Sometimes the testicular cord rips off, which is actually why I put my finger over the end of this. So I'm going to keep sliding that knot down till it's tight, and then you're done.